So the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13 both got some very interesting news. Now, it's not every single day that, the iPhone 12 and 13, we end up seeing basically sales numbers of the year before, but the other day we ended up actually seeing percentage-wise exactly the breakdown of the most popular and best-selling phones throughout the whole entire year of 2022. Now, with the iPhone 13, we would typically see this, we would typically see it at the very top, the most expensive or the cheapest iPhone of that year comparatively to what, the year before is probably going to sell fairly well. And it was one of the, if not the best-selling phone of 2022 was the iPhone 13, and rightfully so. That was a great phone that made up 5% of the sales of 2022 for all phones of that year, apparently. That's amazing. But one very, very interesting thing is that the iPhone 12 actually outsold percentage-wise a lot of other iPhones and a lot of other phones in general. So for one, the iPhone 12 sold less than the 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, and the 13 Pro. So that's always totally fine and made up 1.5% of the sales. But the craziest thing is, and this is just insane, the iPhone 12 outsold the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Pro, and the iPhone SE 3. That is pretty crazy that a phone that didn't even come out in 2022 and didn't even come out in 2021 was still selling fairly well up until last year, and Apple's still selling that phone. And since they reduced the price tag of that device, I wouldn't be surprised if that phone is actually still actually selling quite a bit. I think that would actually be pretty insane. Now, there were some iPhones that aren't really in this specific, top 10 sold phones of all time last year right now, and I'll make a different video talking about that. But I think as of right now, the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12, I think, are just such stable devices, and they just have held up so well throughout the last couple of years that I still think these are very, very good phones to pick up. And I do think this is pretty much a testament to that. You can still see percentage-wise that a lot of people are still buying and picking up these specific phones. So much so, in fact, that last year, like I said, the iPhone 13 outsold the iPhone 14, which is insane. But also, it was the best-selling phone of all time last year, which is crazy. So I think that's some really good stuff. And this is going to, looking forward, at least from these numbers, because you have to remember the iPhone 14 and 14 Pro, they weren't even sold until like late last year. So they didn't even have all the year of being sold like the iPhone 13 series. So I think this year, the iPhone 14 could end up very well selling quite well throughout the whole entire year. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is probably 5% of the sales, or maybe even more. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.